I was at a great conference last year in a mastermind group, and we were talking about things like this. And someone mentioned that, oh, this sounds like a good idea for a product, or you could expand this and interact more with your clients and get top of mind more with your clients by having something like this. And it was like that was where I got the idea, but I didn't have anything quite this nice or developed or, thought out until after that. And that's the idea came from there. And I just started taking my emails and my Word doc and some other things and putting them in, trying to put them into like one concise kind of thing that was more user friendly.
Hey everyone, welcome to Your First Digital Product, a show that helps maxed out service providers create their first digital product so they can gain an additional income stream, grow their impact without increasing one-on-one work, and experience more time freedom. On the show, I talk to business owners who have launched digital products and dig deep into how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. I'm your host, Renee Morozowicz. Let's go. Hey everybody, today I'm here with Debbie Campbell, and Debbie is a designer and WordPress developer who's been managing care plans for clients since 2014. She recently created and launched her first digital product, the website Care Plan Welcome Packet. Hey Debbie, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so excited to talk all about the Welcome Packet. But first, do you want to say a little bit about you and like what you do for clients and all that good stuff?
Yeah, my name's Debbie, and I have been designing and developing for WordPress pretty exclusively since 2009.
Nice.
And I have a good number of clients, local clients, national clients. And in 2014, I had been hosting clients anyway and managing sites for them for quite a while. So I decided I would try to monetize that a little bit and work on building a care plan business. And it's been going strong since 2014. And right now I've got about 83 clients
Wow,
I
that's
take care
awesome.
of.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe for people in the audience who don't know what a care plan is, like what is all involved whenever you take care of someone's website?
Well, generally it's
Mhm.
WordPress updates, backups, taking care of backups in case something explodes on a website and you can
Yeah.
restore backup easily. My plans include hosting. I think most of them do, private hosting. And then other things like, just support help desk, monthly reports. I do an annual site review where I
Nice.
go through and do an audit, and then we have a phone call and discuss opportunities and things we can do to improve the website. So just general care, availability for support, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. It's just taking care of things and having somebody to call in case something goes wrong or in case they want to do something. So really just kind of like being almost like an extension of their team and their business.
Yeah,
So,
mostly clients that don't have like an IT department and they don't
mhm,
know a whole lot about the technical parts of WordPress and
mhm.
don't want to learn, which I
Yeah.
don't blame them. So
Yes.
yeah, sort of an extension of their team.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, very cool. So you created this welcome packet. So do you want to tell us a little bit about like what that is and you use it in your business. So tell us a little bit about how you use it.
Yeah, when I first started, I didn't have anything like this, and it was more seat of your pants
Yeah.
kind of thing when you brought a new client in. But I, over time, kind of built up a document, and it was like a Word doc, and it was just a few things in there. Or I would originally just send them an email with a list of a couple things about details about the care plan, how to get in touch with me. But eventually, it became a little bit more than that. And I was at a great conference last year in a mastermind group, and we were talking about things like this, and someone mentioned that, "Oh, this sounds like a good idea for a product," or you could expand this and interact more with your clients and get top of mind more with your clients by having something like this. And it was like that was where I got the idea, but I didn't have anything quite this nice or developed or thought out until after that. And that's the idea came from there. And I just started taking my emails and my Word doc and some other things and putting them in, trying to put them into like one concise kind of thing that was more user friendly.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of us have that, like, we're working with clients and yeah, we have the emails and we have the documents and they're all kind of around, but like really kind of putting them together in one nice thing to sell sometimes helps us even more because then, yeah, we can give that really nice thing to our clients and all the clients going forward. And I've looked at your welcome pack and it has a lot of great sections in it. So more than just like how to get in touch with you, but also sections on like other services you offer, which I think is so beneficial because I just ran into this myself yesterday. that one of my clients, a longtime client, said something like, "I didn't know you offered that." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no. Like,
Yeah.
I must be doing something wrong
Yeah.
that you are not clear on everything that I do and don't do." So I think it's really important. And also setting those expectations. So just to recap then, your product you were using for your client. So, but not in the polished form that it is now. So you created it, sent that out to your clients. And I think you got some feedback on it from your clients and from
That's right.
other coaches and things like that to kind of really make it robust. You want to tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, the mastermind group I was in at the conference was actually really helpful. I sent it out to them a couple of times as I was going through iterations, and I also sent it to a couple of my marketing clients who, they have a marketing firm and I do design and development for them, and they thought it was really helpful because they will usually aim their clients toward my care plans after we launch a site that I've done for them. So they provided feedback too, and that was all really useful. It took about 4 months really to get the whole thing. It just kind of coalesced
Mm-hmm.
from all these different sources and input into this final thing. And it's not a
Hmm.
final thing, it's evolving, but right now it's at 16 pages and I don't I'm always thinking about how can I expand it further, but right now that's where it is. But it seems it's in a good place right now.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like it's something like your contract where, when you first start out, your contract looked like this, but as you run into different scenarios and you're like, "Oh, I need to add that to my contract," or, "Oh, I need to add that to my email sequence or my welcome packet," or whatever it is. So like you keep learning what clients need to know and what they have problems with. And yeah, you can keep growing it. So you could do a version 2 or a version 3, as you move on.
Yeah, we're on version, I guess, 1.1 right now.
Nice. I
Um,
like it. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what's included in the document? Not that you have to kind of spell it out exactly, but just to kind of give people a sense of like what is a welcome packet and what types of things would you include?
okay. Well, we're actually talking about 2 audiences too,
Hmm.
because the product is not for clients. The product
Hmm.
is for designers, developers, and agencies. But in the
Right.
care plan that they are going to, it's designed to help them onboard their clients and also maybe to put together a care plan if they don't have one already.
Hmm.
So the main things that are in it are things like office hours, how to get support, when to get support, when should I start a support ticket? Because a lot of clients don't know.
Hmm.
And then what's included in the care plan because they probably looked at it on the website once and never thought about it.
Hmm.
So defining what is and is not included so that they're not asking for things that are not included in their plans. Optional add-ons. I've got a few things like privacy policies and improved email delivery with Postmark and a few other little things like that that, like you said, have just kind of crept in over the years, and I just started adding them as add-ons. So it talks about add-ons and FAQs, and then especially asking for referrals is always a
Hmm.
good thing to do. But just basically an overview of the whole care plan, and it's written in a way that's like plain English, easy to read, and just designed to be something that they keep, export it as a PDF, and they say keep it and can refer to it going forward.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and good thing about you mentioning two different audiences. So yes, when you use this with your clients, it's great to let them know. Yeah, when can they get in touch with you, and when to wait, and what other services you offer, and FAQs like questions that everybody asks. But in creating it to sell it to your peers, I have another episode I'll link in the show notes about audiences to sell to. So this specifically is for your peers, people who are also offering care plans or want to offer care plans and need something, they don't have to start from scratch. You've already created this that
Yeah,
they can modify, with their logo and color branding and their specific offerings and their specific office hours, but it really gets them started to be able to hit the ground running with their clients. I think we have a lot of experience and i- and I'm sure that you found this like earlier in your career, with the masterminds and with the other groups, like relying on the experience of others, people who are a little bit further along than you, like is so valuable. So
sure.
it's kind of like giving back to the people who are kind of just coming up now and kind of climbing that ladder as well. We talked about the product and like what's included and why you use it. Do you want to talk about like the actual you talked about creating the product too. So you went through that feedback, at different groups of people. But what about I think you went through a couple of different sales platforms to kind of
Yeah,
find that one that really worked for you because there's no
yeah.
one, there's so many of them. And there's no right one for everybody. You have a lot of technical know-how. So you want to tell us like what you ultimately, well, what you tried and then what you ended up with in terms of like actually selling the product.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried a couple. I tried Gumroad, and another that was really similar to that, and they're if familiar with them, they're pretty limited. I mean, you're allowed to put in a few, description, some photos and a few things, but they're pretty limited. And I ran into I don't recall exactly what the issues were, but just a couple of little things that made it not ideal
Mhm,
for that, and the other one like that. I also tried Etsy, put
okay,
together an Etsy shop, and it was up for about a month, but didn't really do anything, and
mhm,
I think that was really more a problem of not so much the platform, but of needing to really focus on the audience and niche down because it's just too broad of an audience on
mhm,
Etsy.
mhm,
But then I have a lot of experience with WooCommerce.
mhm,
So eventually I just wound up building a WordPress site and with WooCommerce. And that worked out a lot better because I could totally customize it. And it also helped because I could do things like start a blog and I could
mhm.
put more like resources on there and lead magnets and things like that. So it was really the best platform. And I should have probably just done that from the start.
But we don't know,
Well, we don't
it's
know
yeah.
yeah, we don't know what we
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
And those other ones sounded like they would be good, but it just
Mhm.
didn't work out in this case.
I love that you have, at least one blog post, so you can create content that can be found via search engines, and
Yeah.
do you do any, like did you say you do have a lead magnet on there?
I do. I created a resource page. It's a
Okay.
care plan management toolbox.
Mhm,
And I put on there my top 5 recommended tools for people that are managing care plans. And then I've got a page of a lot of info. There's a PDF of this, which is a lead
mhm,
magnet. And this is also my affiliate page, which is also a
mm.
useful thing to do is become an
Yeah.
affiliate of
Mhm,
as many, different resources that you can.
mhm.
So yeah, I have the ability to do that and where I couldn't have done that on one of the platforms like
Right.
yeah.
And all things that you use and like too. If we're using these products anyway, and we really like them, sharing an
Yeah.
affiliate link, I think is great because you're saying like, "Hey, I really love this product,
Mhm.
and if you wanna check it out, here's my affiliate link." And it's not like we're all getting super rich from affiliate links. I don't know, maybe
No.
some people are, but, like 20 bucks, 40 bucks or whatever, like, it's nice. It's just a nice little added income stream.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I think for someone who's doing something like a care plan where you are using a lot of different resources,
Mhm,
you've got a host, you may have a lot of professional licenses for things. I think an
mhm,
affiliate page is a great idea.
mhm.
I mean, it can't
Yeah.
hurt for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when we're starting out too, like I don't know about you, but in my experience, like I tried so many different things, like this backup plugin and that backup plugin and, this
Yeah.
product and that product. And, you kind of over time find the ones that work for you. So
Yeah.
just telling someone like, here, I've been doing this a long time. I already did all the work for you. Just use these tools because these are the best ones. Like
Yeah.
I think can be really valuable for people just starting out.
The other thing I
Yeah.
was going to say is that I started out in Google Slides.
Mhm.
I made the first one in Google Slides and then I really found that Canva is really the place to be.
Mhm.
So I taught myself Canva and made another version of it in Canva. So I've sold probably about half and half Google
Nice.
Slides and Canva.
Mhm.
So that worked out well. And I know how to use another tool now. It wasn't something I
Mhm.
planned at the beginning, but seemed to be necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, people Canva's all over the place now. Like, you hear about Canva left and right, and yeah, that is a great point of having your product, because it is a template that people can customize, having it be in a tool that people can customize. Like, you wouldn't put it in, like, InDesign because, we don't all know InDesign, you
Yeah.
might, but just making it the easiest and I'm not saying, like, you would put it in every platform to give tons of options, but, those are 2 really popular options, right? Google Slides, a lot of people know, people have Google
Yeah.
Workspace, and Canva, a lot of people using it, so I think those are 2 great options to deliver the same thing, and so it's the same price and you just get to pick which one, or how do you have it kind of
Exactly.
priced out? Okay,
Yeah. They're
awesome.
the same price and you get it's the same document, just different
Mhm.
format.
Oh, nice. Cool. Nice. Awesome. Okay. So you mentioned, you created a WooCommerce site and, blog post SEO, and you also like bought a specific domain for it. So you have a domain. I've talked about this before on the show that often when you're selling to your peers, putting that content on your own website, on your agency website or on your business website can be confusing for potential customers. Like it's not a
Exactly.
great place to do it. So yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about that? Like how did you pick the domain and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I definitely didn't wanna put it on my
Mhm,
agency site because, clients would would have no idea what it was
Yeah.
or yeah, and then the other thing is my agency side, I have a separate website for my care plan
Mhm.
business, and that's another, point of confusion for people, so I wound up with the domain name, and it's way too long, but it's I mean, it's
Mhm.
wpcareplанwelcomepacket.com, so I don't think I
Nice.
could be any clearer with that.
Yes. And so how do you like, I guess maybe we're jumping ahead a little bit, but like what if you have other products later? Like do you have any thoughts about other products? And then would you put them on that site or would they all still be related to the welcome packet? Like what about the future, I guess?
Well, I don't have any plans right now. I've
Mhm.
I've tried thinking about it, but I'm really just focusing on marketing this one still.
Mhm. Okay.
And if I did have other products, they would probably fall under the care plan universe somehow.
Yeah.
So I think it would probably be fine to have them on that site.
Mhm.
If I did, I don't really have anything in mind right now, but I think
Yeah.
that they would probably be related.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I talked with Nathan Ingram on the show a little while ago. And yeah, he mentioned the products that he has are in alignment with each other. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's not like something like way out there. They're all related to each other. And that makes it easier for you to create and manage and have them all, kind of in one place and related to one thing. I think it makes it easier for your audience too. Because whenever you're doing this and this and this, and your audience is like, wait,
yeah,
I'm not sure what's going on. Like, what are we talking about here? So
yep, I
yeah,
agree.
for sure. Yeah. So you mentioned the marketing, focusing on marketing. Do you want to tell us some ways that you have been marketing the product or some ways upcoming too?
Yeah, like I said, it's really important to think about your target audience. I have a super niche audience. And I did try a little bit of Facebook marketing, but that's not my forte, didn't
Mhm.
really do much with it. But I have found that doing like sponsoring newsletters and podcasts is
Nice.
good because
Mhm,
that is again a super niche audience.
mhm.
So I've gotten some sales from that and I'm going to
Nice.
continue doing that. I've got a marketing spreadsheet where I
Mm.
keep track of who I contact about sponsorships and that kind of
Mhm.
thing. And then I also am signed up for a number of like Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal
Nice.
pages this year. I
Mhm.
think that's going to be a place to get the product in front of
Mhm.
a number of people. The other thing I will mention that I did make a mistake that I made. I was kind of like focused on one place that would have been a great place to market and get it in front of my audience. But I really made an error by sharing that with the person that runs that space
Mhm.
too soon
Mhm.
before it was really in a position and it was that was my mistake, and I since then, it was less than finished. It was not
Mhm.
in a position to be doing that yet. I guess it wound up being a good experience because it helped me really make the product a lot more unique,
Mhm.
and it helped me really focus on making sure the product was not part of the sales process, but something that you would give after the sales
Mhm.
process. So
Yeah.
it was entirely for, the benefit of the client and not part of you trying to sell something to the client.
Mhm. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. And again, back to like, we don't know what we don't know. And I think
Exactly.
some of those things, like, you know, kind of going down the road of like, let's look at some of these sales platforms because they're easier. I hesitate sometimes to recommend, doing this big thing because then it makes the project that much bigger and, people are less likely to launch. But yeah, sometimes you kind of go down a path, you're like, oh, wait, this isn't the right path. Let's backtrack. And, I think we do find the lessons in those mistakes, even though we don't like it at the time. Yeah,
No,
it
there's
doesn't feel
always
good.
something usually something good will come out of something like
Mhm.
that anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and I think if you have that attitude of looking for that too, instead of like, "Oh, this was terrible," like, "Okay, what did I learn here? What can I do differently next time?" But yeah, I totally agree, and I like that you are identifying opportunities, like, where your audience is, the newsletters that they are reading and
Yeah.
the podcasts that they're listening to, borrowing those audiences from other people, I think is really valuable, a great place to find them.
Yeah, it's also a lot easier than trying to target them with ads,
Mhm,
because those audiences are already there. So
mhm.
it's just a matter of, like, doing research into the podcasts and sponsorships and that kinda thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And
for
Black
sure.
Friday, I think. I've never run a Black Friday ad of any
Mhm.
type, so I'm kinda looking forward to seeing how this works out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's just a lot of this is just, like, experimenting, and so,
Yeah.
yeah, like, "Oh, I've never tried an ad before. Oh, I've never tried, selling on Black Friday." And your audience specifically is very Black Friday interested, like, the WordPress community is really into Black Friday. Like,
Yeah.
we're looking for the deals, we want we're waiting to see what comes up, so, yeah, I think that's a great place. to market. So do you want to tell us maybe your recommendations are so maybe like what you learn and or your recommendations for people who are creating their first product?
Yeah, it's very time consuming, I would say. It
Mhm,
took me about 4 months, and I guess work was a little light at that point. I thought, "Well, this is great. I have an opportunity to do this," but it was a lot more work than I thought it would
mhm,
be, and it wasn't difficult for me to build that WordPress site with WooCommerce. It was harder for me to actually the time I spent trying to figure out the platforms that I didn't wind
mhm,
up using, but then I learned that they were not the right platform for me.
mhm,
But yeah, it was a lot more time consuming than I thought it would be. Another one is I had no idea what I was doing. So without your guidance, it wouldn't have gone anywhere because I had no idea what I was doing. So I really appreciate
mhm.
that. It would have
Oh,
taken a
thanks.
lot longer. You knew how to help, and I mean, I couldn't have done it without you, to be honest.
Oh, that's sweet. Thanks.
So,
There's a
um,
lot of pieces to it. Like there's maybe more
yeah,
pieces than we think that are
exactly.
kind of
I do agree.
involved in it. But I think it's great to go through because, like you personally, like you may have clients who want to sell something online. Something that you learned here may be helpful for you too
It's true.
when you're serving your clients. So, I think that it's just a great learning experience. And yeah, if you make some money, that's great too.
Yeah, and I would say another thing to be really attentive to detail. I'm pretty much perfectionist when it comes to like graphic design stuff, and
Mhm,
it took a while to get Canva to the point where Google Slides is not I mean, it's not that great for graphic
mhm, yeah.
design, and neither is and Canva is, but, it was a learning experience with Canva, and I
Mhm,
wanted everything to look really, really
mhm,
sharp. And the
mhm.
last thing
And
I
it
would say
does.
is Oh, thank you.
It
I
is very
appreciate
sharp,
that.
yeah, it's like I when I first saw like, when you first built the website, I was like, "Wow, that, like, pops." Like, that is it's really, I think, rare to find somebody who is both great at the development and killer at the design, so, yeah, I was like, "Wow,
Well, thank you.
very cool."
And the last thing I would say is reviews are really important. And
Mhm,
they're hard to get. It's hard to get people to leave reviews, and the first guy that bought one from me is from Ireland, and he left me a great review,
so did
and I would recommend I've got a few reviews, and I would recommend putting up a system for requesting them automatically. I use, like, Automate Woo, which,
mhm,
does follow-up emails, but you could,
mhm,
set it up with MailChimp or MailerLite or some other thing to set up, like, automated review requests after they purchase the product,
mhm.
and it's just really hard to get reviews, but they're so important.
Mhm. Yeah, and I
So
love that automating, and I think a lot of times when we launch a product, we're spending a lot of time on the product and on the marketing and on the follow-ups, but really, like, we wanna get to a point where it runs, like, it just runs by
it just
itself.
runs. Yes.
Yes. So, that's the goal. So, yeah, setting those things up, and, yeah, maybe you don't have them set up from the beginning, but, yeah, adding those things over time, yeah, and I think getting those reviews is really important because, yeah, people wanna see that proof, like, "What is this? I don't know what this is," but I still read reviews, and even though I feel
Yeah,
like Amazon reviews are crappy now, but, that
exactly.
was kinda like, what we were I don't wanna say, like, brought up with, but, in the online space, like, reading Amazon reviews was, like, a big deal, to see if the product was gonna be good or not. So I think in, yeah, our products, if we don't have those reviews and don't ask for them also, I think it's an opportunity to sometimes make some tweaks. Like, if somebody leaves a review that says, "I like this, and I had trouble with this," that's just an opportunity for you to make the product better,
Yeah,
if you get that
absolutely.
feedback. So, yeah.
Yeah, so far the reviews I've only got a few, but they've been really good,
Yeah,
and I
that's awesome.
haven't got anything, but yeah, it's totally a great way to find out what you need to work on
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, and you can use those reviews also as content in maybe that newsletter that you're sponsoring or that podcast. So and so just bought this product and they said this about it. Sometimes I think it feels easier to share what somebody else has said about our product than
Yeah,
for us to share like this is a great product. We feel
yeah,
kind of
for
like
sure.
salesy. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, yeah,
The last thing was,
okay.
just about affiliates.
Hmm.
If you only have, like, 1 or 2 things that you use, but if you're a WordPress developer, there's gonna be probably, a dozen things that you use all the
Hmm.
time, and I think there's no problem at all becoming an affiliate. I have no problem clicking on affiliate links for other
Hmm.
people. It's like you said, you don't get rich doing it, but it's certainly, you know, it's a passive income.
Yeah, exactly. It
Passive
adds to
income is
it.
great.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the goal, like, working less hours well, tying those hours to the income. I think kind of pulling away from that, and also it promotes those companies that you like.
Yeah,
You use this product and you like it, like, and, kicking some sales their way too can feel good.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Awesome. So, do you
So,
want to tell us where we can find you online?
yeah, the welcome packet is at wpcareplanwelcomepacket.com,
Okay.
and then my studio site is redkitecreative.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'd love to continue the conversation in your inbox. Email subscribe to hey@yfdp.show or sign up in the show notes to get bi-monthly emails about how you can create, launch, and market your first digital product. Can't wait to see you there.